Episode 58 of Multiplaying is brought to you by the Honey Badger. You got king cobras?
Honey badgers don't give a shit.
You got big-ass rats?
Honey badgers don't give a shit.
You got swarms of bees?
Honey badgers don't give a shit.
Honey Badger. Get it at your local Costco.
Legal in 49 states.
Everybody online, looking good.
A companion podcast to the collaborative blog and gaming community that's playing as life allows. This is Multiplaying.
Well, let's start the insanity.
We have clearance, Clarence. Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
Hello?
Great heavens! What kind of radio show is this?
And welcome to Multiplaying, everybody. Tonight on the show we have John.
Hey.
Jason.
Hey.
Me, Steve, and filling our fourth spot, we have a special guest. It's Brian, but not the Brian you're used to. It's Brian, a.k.a. Blue Kai. Or is it Blue K?
Blue K, actually.
Blue K. See,
Yep.
I've always been pronouncing it wrong.
That's all right.
I thought it was pronounced Canada.
No, that's the other Brian.
That's the other Brian.
Oh, that's right there, yeah.
Yeah, see, it's easily confused.
Yeah, I'm a Hoosier. I'm not Canadian.
We have a lot of Hoosiers in the Multiplaying community.
We do. I think it's pretty odd.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
But then we like everybody else is from like Canada or California. It's weird.
Yeah.
But
so
we
gotta
take all
get Rare on and we can have a Hoosier cast.
That's right. Be strange. Yeah, it would be the most boring podcast because I don't know.
Talk about the weather.
Well, yeah, it's fucking cold, and then it's fucking hot, and then it's fucking cold again.
Exactly, and that's just like the first 2 days.
Yeah.
And then like the rest would be, remember, Bobby Knight was kind of cool.
Nah, that's never true.
Well, we used to have a mayor here named Harry Balls, but yeah, that's in the news, so that's great. Let's get into a little bit about Brian before we go on with the show. Brian, why are you with us? Who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
Why? I don't know why I'm here.
Well, everybody should already
I was
know.
here because I just said yes when you messaged me and got on.
No! You're more well-known than we are. It's you are Blue K from your website, bluek.com.
Yep.
Tell us about it. What is that?
It's just mostly rambles.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why I'm on the show. It fits in.
Yeah, we ramble together.
So what is your blog about?
Well, I started, I guess it's been a year and a half ago, and it started out as just a couple of rants on DRM. When actually, I think it was Spore that kind of kicked all that off for me, followed shortly by the Ubisoft stuff that they were doing with the always-on connections. And, it's one of those things where I read a lot of blogs, and I used to comment, and then I got to the point where, like, I should just start one of my own. So I have kind of my own soapbox for stuff. And
Had enough stuff to say in the comments that it was like, I could just fill a page with this.
Yeah. And I'm, kind of a frustrated amateur writer to begin with. So I thought it would be good practice and kind of started the site. And basically the name just came from, that's my Xbox Live profile name.
Oh, cool.
That's where I took that from. I was trying to come up with some like clever, blog title to use, and just couldn't do it. So I was
all
like,
the good ones are taken.
Yeah, well, and I figured, I'll just use the my Xbox Live name, and because that wasn't taken, and I figured if I really get popular and I come up with a better name later on, I can always change it. But I didn't want to spend 6 months like trying to come up with the perfect name and not do any writing at all. So,
Yeah.
But it's mostly about games, but I also do, basically it's whatever I'm interested in really, which mostly is games, but occasionally it's creative writing or homebrewing. I do a little bit of that on there too. So.
And when you say homebrewing, you mean like beverage?
Yes, beer. That's what I'm drinking right now.
I was about to say, now that I said that, I totally forgot what everybody's drinking. What are you drinking? Is it homebrewed?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my
drinking
God.
Make it in your
a,
bathtub?
No, made it on the back deck.
Ooh, nice.
It's drinking a milk stout.
In the bathtub that he has on the back deck.
Yeah. This is Indiana.
Yeah. But I'll go around since I already have botched this enough. What are you drinking, John?
The vodka sake from last week, but I had it straight.
All right, Vaki again.
Vaki.
Jason, what you drinking?
I'm not drinking anything yet. I gotta
Holy
get some-
crap!
I know.
I don't know. After the last couple of beers you had, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I'm a little gun shy.
I've got nothing tonight, just the Mountain Dew throwback. Yay. But anyways, let's get back into talking about Blue K here. What games do you typically, what are, of the game section, since this is what this podcast is primarily about, what games do you typically find yourself playing? What's your forte?
Mostly MMOs. That's kind of what I spend most of my time, although I kind of go through cycles where maybe there's a month where I play mostly Xbox games, and there may be a month when I play mostly single-player PC games, but usually it seems to be MMOs. Most months is what I play most of.
Do you find, I've found, at least lately, I've been playing a lot of console games, and I've had a harder time, like, writing about them. Are you like me, do you have an easier time writing about MMOs than you do anything else?
Yeah. Most of the console stuff that I write about is really just kind of, I don't want to call them reviews because I'm not that critical as far as thinking about them.
Neither
They're
do we.
mostly like impression pieces. So
yeah.
So and it's also kind of hard too because I'm so used to taking screenshots while I'm playing MMOs or PC games that writing for console games is a little more difficult because I don't have any screenshots to refer back to afterwards.
Right. You got to Google search like a mofo.
Yeah.
That image looks about right,
Yeah.
like where I was. That'll work.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I did an impression thing for Red Dead Redemption, and that was almost a year ago now, and that's still like every day. That's the top viewed post on my site.
Really, that's cool.
Yeah,
It's cool.
It's really weird though because all I did was like, here's kind of what I think about the game, and it was totally an impression piece. No critical review stuff in it at all. No score, nothing. And yet, like every day, there's 30 or 40 Google search hits on that.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
At least, so it's bizarre what becomes popular and what doesn't.
Yeah, it's like I honestly think one of our top hitters is one that we had about, I wrote up something that when Just Cause 2 came out and it wasn't compatible with anything less than there was a problem with Windows 7. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was a Windows problem with it, and I wrote about that, and that was like a huge search problem or search term that people were throwing out for that. And
oh, nice.
yeah, it was like such a non-consequential piece that I wrote.
Right.
And I was like, okay.
You spend like 10 minutes, dash something
Yeah.
off, and it's like your top hit every day, and you spend 3 hours on something that you really put your heart into, and it gets 12
Yeah.
reads, and then that's it.
That's blogging.
Yeah. Yeah.
But going with your Red Dead review, did you like Red Dead?
Yeah, I did.
I don't think I've actually read your review of it.
I did. Actually, that's the only Rockstar game I've ever played that I've played more than an hour, and not only that, but actually finished. So
I
pretty much agree with you guys from your year-end show, which that was of the Xbox games. That was my second game of the year, mostly just because the pacing, like you guys mentioned, was a little bit off. I think the whole Mexico section could have been yanked out. Probably have been okay.
Yeah, that could have been some nice DLC.
Yeah, that whole second act really didn't need to be there.
Right. Other than Red Dead, what's some games from last year that were tripping your trigger?
Let's see, the big one, besides Red Dead on the Xbox, was Mass Effect 2. Loved that game.
Yeah, brother.
So,
Yeah.
a surprise one for me was Star Wars Force Unleashed. I
The first
played
one or
that-
the second one?
the first one. I haven't played
Okay.
the second one yet.
Don't.
I already own it, so.
Oh, damn it.
They got you.
But actually the second one is why I played the first one, because it was one of those things where I played the demo and I thought, oh, it's pretty good, and then it came out and just got panned pretty hard in the reviews, I thought, so I just ended up skipping it. And then when I heard they were making a sequel, I was like, well, the first one couldn't have been that bad. So I bought it, like for $20 and played through it, and I actually really enjoyed it. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
Me too. I love the first one.
And I had unfortunately already pre-ordered it, and I think it arrived like 2 days before the multiplaying where you guys were talking about it. I'm like,
Yeah, and it's weird because that's the one outlier from last year that I can just absolutely say was my biggest disappointment.
Oh, well, I haven't played it yet, so I can't say. I think disappointment for me was probably the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions that came out.
Oh, I like that.
Well, I liked it, but I really, I loved Spider-Man 2 on I think his original Xbox. That game. That was the first game I ever played where it's like, this is what swinging in the city is like.
Right. So they took away that open world part of it with Shattered Dimensions.
Yeah, and that, that was really my own fault because I didn't read up enough on it, so my expectations were out of whack with what the game had. So, it was totally my fault that it didn't click with me, but, I hear Spider-Man game and that's what I think, so.
Right. That developer who... I can't remember the name of that developer who made that one, but I've read that they have taken over officially of the Spider-Man franchise, and there's even a rumor I read on Joystick or something this week that there's going to be something that's coming out this year. So it'd be interesting to see if they go back to that.
Yeah, I'll have to check because if they don't, I've learned enough about myself to know that if they don't, incorporate some kind of open, exploration city type area. I probably won't get it. And I'm a huge Spider-Man is probably my favorite superhero of any superhero out there.
Me too. Yep.
That was as a kid. Spider-Man was number one, and I think Batman was my second favorite. So,
MMO wise though, let's break into that since that is your main topic of interest, and it seems to be one that we pay a lot of attention to. What's like your MMO of choice right now? What are you playing?
Star Trek Online.
Okay, cool. Jason, you're still playing that, aren't you?
Yep. Still really enjoying it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I kind of took a little break from it, but I got on in December and was messing around on Tribble, trying out some custom stuff, and then when the Space Dock update came out here recently with the 1-year anniversary and the new featured episodes and stuff, I've gotten back into it pretty heavily. So.
Cool. Yeah, it's funny. I was just going to download that today, and I was like, I'll do it a little bit later or whatever. But
we got Rift coming, man.
I know. It's only a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about Star Trek Online last night because I was looking at some screenshots from the new episodic content and was pretty damn impressed. And since I've been playing EVE Online a bunch, I've been thinking about like the combat system, like the difference in the combat systems and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's totally different.
Yeah, I gotta say, I know people like there can be a more grander scale in EVE, and there's a lot more at risk with that.
But it's much more hands off.
Yeah, it is. I really gotta say I like the Star Trek Online feel of the combat. That your positioning matters a lot more, and I like to actually feel like I'm flying something, even though I would say that EVE does a better job of making it feel like you're flying something large than Star Trek does.
True.
But
because if you're flying something large, you wouldn't be banking left and right and maneuvering like you are in Star Trek Online. So if anything, really, they may be like the Defiant class is small enough that they probably should handle the way they do now, but maybe some of the bigger ones they could conceivably change that. But I like it. It's much more hands-on than EVE is, and I had played EVE for about a year and a half off and on.
Did you?
So yeah, I had some experience with that too. But
Are you a really big Star Trek fan?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like dress up in the uniform and go to conventions fan, but I'm enough of a fan that I've seen all the TV shows and all the movies and
got the underwear.
Not that much.
Are you one of those people who
reading a bunch
converted
of books,
your living room into a bridge?
No.
God, I love seeing those pics. Those are awesome.
My wife would never allow that to happen. She is not a geek at all, so I don't think she would go.
I think I could make that happen with Shannon.
You probably could.
Yeah.
As long as it's like the Falcon.
Yeah, it'd have to be. Yeah. Oh, that she would be. Yeah, I could walk out there right now and say I'm gonna spend $10,000 to make this in the Falcon, and she'd be like, "I'll get the car ready."
That would be cool.
We're going to Home Depot.
I don't
Where's
think
your
they have
Falcon
Falcon
section?
parts.
No.
You got to go to Lowe's for that.
Yeah.
Do you have any holographic chessboards? speaking
you know,
of
with sorry to interrupt. With
just
with,
cut me off.
Just hop in whenever. This is your thing. Your thing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that right now. No, but I was gonna ask you, Brian, with the new races and ships and stuff like that. Are you really digging those, or they're adding like Vulcan ships and stuff like that?
Yeah, I tried out the Vulcan ship. I think it's called the Dakir on Tribble, and it's pretty neat looking. It's got a nice little secondary ability that you launches a support ship, and I guess it heals you while you're in combat.
Ooh.
But the animation is really neat because the warp nacelle, the ring, tilts sideways and then the ship launches out. So they've got a nice little animation attached to it, and it's pretty neat.
Nice.
I don't like it enough that I'm going to buy it in the C-store when it goes live. I may try to earn it with points, but I did buy the Enterprise, the NX class when it came out.
Right.
I bought that, that's really cool because you use that for your Tier 0 ship. So instead of being stuck in that ugly Miranda the whole time, the Miranda class for the first 10, 11 levels, you can fly around in a NX class Enterprise, and it's got the grappler, so you can actually it's kind of like a tractor beam, but they actually have an animation where the cable and the grappler arm flies out and latches onto the other ship. It's pretty cool.
And you can
That's pretty awesome.
Go around the legs a
used
few times and topple them over.
Yeah. I'd always used the original Enterprise because I had gotten originally the collector's edition. So
I've never been a fan of that ship. It doesn't look right to me in the game because the TOS stuff is just a slightly kind of campy or 70s.
Well, it's
it just doesn't
definitely
fit.
older. I definitely like it better than the Miranda though.
yeah, that's true. But I'm more of a I saw the TOS a few times reruns when I was a kid, but I wasn't really a Trek fan until Next Generation came out.
Right. Okay, well anyway, sorry. Didn't mean
No problem. But speaking of the future, segue, what are some of the games that you're actually looking forward to this year?
Well, see, most of them are actually console games. Actually, as far as
there's a lot of good ones coming.
Right, as far as new stuff. So, Batman: Arkham City. I still haven't finished Arkham Asylum. Actually, I need to do that because I really love that game. But for some reason, I put it down to play something else, and I just haven't gone back to it.
I did the same thing, man.
So I need to get back and finish that. But really looking forward to Arkham City. The Batman game I was really floored. That was like the first, just like kind of like Spider-Man 2 was like the quintessential Spider-Man game for me. Arkham Asylum was the first game I played where I was like, this is what it's like to be Batman.
Yeah, and Batman's such a hard character to translate into that medium that it's amazing how well they nailed that.
Yeah, they did really well, and I'm looking forward to see if they can make some improvements without, if they can just make steps forward and not make any mistakes. So besides that, Mass Effect 3, I'm really looking forward to that coming out. The PC side would be the Dawn of War 2 expansion that comes out soon.
Have you been doing the beta? Have you doing the beta of that?
I got in once and played it, and I haven't been in again because I don't really. The original Dawn of War I loved, and I used to play skirmishes all the time with that because of the base building stuff. But the Dawn of War 2, I really haven't liked the multiplayer game too much. The base building's gone, and I used to like to kind of turtle up a little bit, so I would expand out, grab some strategic points, fortify those areas, and then move out from there. But I hated having to come back and retake points.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I like to kind of keep my front line solid, so I don't have to worry about them, the enemy getting behind my lines or flanking and trying to take over points. And in Dawn of War 2, you really can't. Once you take a strategic point, there's really no way to fortify it too much.
Yeah. You can't defend it unless you leave people behind.
Right, and the cap on the number of units you can have, and if you build turrets, those count against units and that stuff. And it just never clicked with me as much as the first Dawn of War did. The single player game is excellent, though. I really enjoyed that. So I haven't messed with the beta much because I getting into it reminded me why I don't play the multiplayer.
Yeah, what I do with instead of the multiplayer with the actual full, missions and verses, I do the survival mode. With the waves.
I need
of mobs.
to try that. I haven't tried
Because
that.
that to me is much more enjoyable, where you don't have to worry about the base at all. You just control the one character, and you have your abilities, and you just try and live as long as possible with your friends.
Isn't that what has the level up mechanic in it too?
Yeah. As you level, you gain more gear, and you can choose as the higher level you get, the more gear and abilities you have to choose from, and that kind of stuff.
Those levels aren't
it's
persistent,
also,
though, right?
They are persistent.
Oh, are they? Cool.
And they're persistent actually only in the survival mode, yeah. And then they're persistent for each respective commander or unit that you pick to play as. So, like, you have to level each one separately. So, like, you level your Eldar commander first, and then that one can get max level, and then you have to play a Space Marine, or you can choose which one to play, but, you know.
Yeah, I haven't tried that mode at all. I need to get in and check that out, I guess.
That mode's a blast, yeah. It's a lot of fun.
I actually haven't finished Chaos Rising either. I need to do that before Retribution comes out. I'm on the last mission, actually.
Oh, man.
I stopped just before the last mission started, and I haven't gone back to it.
Just finish it up, man.
Yeah, so I pulled out too soon.
Oh, no.
Or not hot, maybe?
I don't know. I know.
But... go ahead. Sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was just going to go back to... I mean, if we're off that, I was going to just mention a couple of other games I was looking forward to. But
Yeah, do it.
So those are the console and the PC game. And then MMO-wise, I'm looking forward to Rift, but I'm not... I'm interested to play it. I'm looking forward to playing it, but I'm not really excited about it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because it's one of those things I was trying to think kind of why I'm not really like it's lukewarm on playing the game. I'm looking forward to playing it.
Right.
I pre-ordered and I've signed up for, I think, like the first 3 months, and I'll see about renewing after that. I'm not sure if I will, but I think it's just because it's a new IP, so I don't have that emotional attachment that I did to, like Lord of the Rings or Star Trek Online when they came out.
Right.
So, and I imagine if it wasn't for the fact that everybody else was planning to play it, I'm not sure if I would, play it. If I was totally on my own, I probably wouldn't get into play it, but...
Yeah, Twitter's a hell of a thing, man.
Yeah.
With everybody that I think you and me probably follow a very similar bunch.
Yeah, I've been sucked into several games that way. That's probably the only reason why I ended up picking up Cataclysm was because of all that. And
yep, me too.
That didn't turn out well either, so...
Nope. Well, I wouldn't say it wasn't bad. It's just the amount of money that I spent for the time that I actually spent.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I was kind of
enjoyed the short amount of time that I was there, but...
But yeah, that's... Honestly, MMO-wise, I think I'm looking more forward to content additions and not necessarily really expansions, but just the updates that are being planned for some of the existing games much more than I am for any of the new games coming out, because I don't think Tor and Guild Wars 2 I don't think they're going to come out this year.
Soon.
Yeah, so as far as like new MMOs, I think Rift is pretty much it.
Yeah, it could own 2011, man.
Yep.
It's
if nothing else comes out, that might be the only one that's around.
Yeah, just timing wise, they're in a great position.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, I think most of us here are looking forward to it. I mean, John's played, out of all of us, probably played the game as far as beta goes the most, at least versus me, because I have not played the beta very much. But I'm just excited for a new MMO. I've kind of been keeping myself away from traditional MMOs for a while now, for at least the past month or two, and
I've kind of kept myself away from the beta now, because I played... I managed to snag a VIP key, so I've been in all the closed betas since the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
That's how I am. I'm in the alpha, and I avoid that temptation of logging on because I don't want to burn out on it.
Yeah. Yep. Like the last beta weekend that we had, I got in and played for maybe 30 minutes, I think, because I just kind of wanted to poke around and see what was new. But I'm almost to the stage now where I'm like, I just want to try to figure out what calling and what combination of souls I want to start out with, as opposed to seeing if I'm going to like the game, because I got a mage up to, I think, level 18, something like that.
Right.
So I've already kind of seen the first few levels of the Defiant area, and I don't want to kind of get sick of it before the game even launches.
Yeah, I've already seen it a couple times, so that's enough for me.
Yeah.
But with that, we're going to get into what we're currently playing, and we'll start with our special guests because we can't get enough of them. What are you playing right now?
You're making me blush.
Am I? If everybody can see it. It's we got the blush effect on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's see.
Man, this guy never
just
shuts
go for
up.
last
you know?
week. How far back do you want me to go on what I've been playing since I've never been on before?
Like past week or so. That's fine.
Yeah, it's like this.
See, I
Don't
started
do
with
your whole
Pong.
history.
Yeah, don't start up. Well, I played Final Fantasy IV.
After Pong, I think it was the Pitfall.
Oh, Pitfall, good one.
Burger time.
So no, the last week it's all been Magicka, Minecraft, and Star Trek Online.
You play a lot of Minecraft.
I do. Well, I run a server, so
You have your own server.
I do. Yeah, actually, I have two running on there.
Oh boy.
Well, I had one that had monsters turned off back when there was no health system, so you couldn't die in multiplayer. We just thought immortal monsters would be kind of irritating. So
Yeah, and immortal players too.
yeah, but having like a creeper following you around that can't die, I didn't think that would be very fun. So,
But wait, if they can't die, do they explode constantly?
I don't know. I never tried it. I just kind
Oh,
of
we
mentally
should
was
try.
like, they can't die, we can't die. Let's just turn them off. So,
I wonder. That'd be interesting. That'd be an interesting way to demo things.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
have a creeper continuously
it's enabled
exploding.
now, so
Creeper just bouncing around. I'm here to blow shit up.
yeah, big green penises.
Boosh, boosh, boo. Anyway, moving
Yeah.
on.
So that's I ended up setting up a second server because I had a bunch of people on there, and I didn't want to. Some people wanted monsters on, some people didn't, and they added the biomes, to have like the Arctic areas and the desert areas. So figured we'd start a new map so that we would get something to look decent. So I actually have two different.
But that's cool though, because then
server.
you have like, if you want monsters, you go here. If you don't, you go there.
Yeah, so on my side, I have a page for the servers, and I refer to one as the builder server and the other one as the adventure server.
Cool.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I've been playing a lot of that. I kind of took a month off from it, or a month or two off. I played obsessively for the first couple months that I had it, and almost to an unhealthy level. Play. Yeah, and
It's just so awesome.
then I kind of burned out a little bit and took a month or two off. And then when he did the 1.2 beta release and he added some new items and stuff, it started out as like, I'll just pop on the multiplaying server and check out the new items. And I figured I might spend a couple hours on there. And 2 weeks later, instead of like a log cabin on top of a mountain, I now have a giant stone fortress that goes from the very roots of the world all the way up to the very top of the world. So I kind of
And you have
What's
kinda
one
went
line of
overboard.
cocaine?
yeah.
and now you have a full beard.
Yeah.
Been playing anything else though? What's your? I do want to know. I do have to know though. What's your current rank in STO?
I have a Vice Admiral 1, which is the max level.
Okay.
It's a science officer, and then I have 3 characters. So I started a tactical alt and an engineering alt, and I have those. The tactical guy is lieutenant somewhere. I mean, he's like basically level 8, and then my engineer guy is lieutenant commander. He just got promoted to that a little bit ago, and so got into like the first Constitution class ship, which is kind of neat because it actually looks like a real like classic classic Star Trek profile as opposed to the Voyager or the Enterprise profiles that I've been using on the other players. So
cool.
Yeah, or even like the Defiant. It's just so small. And
yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get into what the rest of us have been playing too. John, how about you? What you been playing?
nothing really changed. I've been playing a lot more Magicka, which we've already talked plenty about, but
not enough though.
That's true.
Because I got the game.
Yeah, I was
did
curious about that. We can maybe come back to that for your stuff, but I was kind of curious what.
Well, no, we'll talk about it now.
Trigger on it.
Yeah, we can just talk about it now.
Because you weren't real into it last
yeah.
I heard, and then suddenly you're like,
yeah,
dang.
Yeah, I finally played online, and I think that's the big kicker. And I even went back today and I played a little bit single player, and that game pisses me off single player. It
Now-
does. It
now,
seriously
can you play
pisses
the
me off.
demo online? I thought
I
the
did-
demo
what-
maybe was single player only.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Yeah, I played
Okay.
the demo first, and then I got the game, and John and me, he toured me through a little bit of Magicka. I think. Well, how far did we get? Like halfway, maybe, or third way?
No.
No, not-
Maybe a third.
Maybe a third. Okay.
No, because we got to like chapter 4, 5.
5.
Yeah, so that's like it's like a fourth.
Oh wow. But yeah, totally changed my perception of the game. I still have issue with the controls.
Mm-hmm.
Big
I
time.
still feel like it needs a control stick, like a fight stick.
I play,
like an arcade.
the more I kind of feel that. But it's.
You know, I haven't tried it yet, but I heard that you can use like a wired Xbox controller.
Well, the game, I believe.
To play it.
Yeah, I think you can use a wired controller, and I think you actually have to go through like radial menus or something to do the
Yeah.
spells.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've got one I've used with it.
What do you think
like
about
it better
that?
that way, Jason?
No,
or-
I don't.
No.
I've heard mixed things from people, but just personally for me, I don't know if it's because I played keyboard first and then I plugged it in and tried it, but I can't get the feel of it.
Yeah. You know, Steve, you're talking about like the controls and stuff. Yeah, I had a lot of problems with the controls on that game at first because I kept like, you know, I'd shift, you know, what am I supposed to shift right click, shift left click, or control, or, you know, it took a while, but once that muscle memory kicks in,
Right.
it makes, you know, once kind of your fingers kind of learn what to do, it flows a lot better. And because I'm to the point now where I don't generally have to think too much in advance on it. I know what I want to do, and it just kind of happens
you're
off the
just
screen.
you're just like, oh, how did I do that spell? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And
You know,
I think like what you're saying, I think my mind is locking a lot of times on the when to hit shift or when to hit the space bar, because like the typical casting is really not that hard. That's pretty easy
Yeah.
to get down, and like knowing the middle mouse or right mouse or left mouse or whatever, or yeah. But it's like when you have to remember that, to do this other spell, you have to throw down the shift while you hit the button, or to hit the space bar.
or
It's like, oh god.
is it, you know, shift left click or shift right click? Because, you know, some of it's sword, some of it's
Right.
area of effect, and I always used to I'd end up enchanting my sword when I meant to do, you know, an area of effect spell or vice versa, and it took a while, and it was pretty frustrating because I was trying to learn that single player. So of course, every time you die, you have to start over.
Right.
And
it's a lot more forgiving when you have, you know, at least one other player to revive you.
yeah,
You know,
definitely.
So,
Unless that one other
that
player
game is
is
really,
me.
you know, that game is really, the single player is probably not intended to be the primary play mode. I don't think.
Yeah,
kind of like Borderlands. Really, it's intended to be co-op.
After playing the
Yeah.
multiplayer, it's changed my perception of the game because it is a hell of a lot more fun multiplayer.
Yeah.
Like a lot of games are more fun when you play with other people. And just I can't think of one that is not, but this game is like night and day better with other people. So
It's much less difficult than when you're playing single player.
unless
It's
you
really
cross
hard, some of this
opposite
battle.
elements.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you cross the opposite elements, and it starts to get pretty bloody.
That can be the case.
yeah, but that's I am actually enjoying the game now. So it's in my thumbs up category now. So
Barely.
Plus, you know, it's
barely.
$10. I mean, $10
yeah,
bucks.
for the well, yeah.
You probably already gotten your $10 worth out of it.
Yeah, I definitely.
Yeah, we're not even done with the game yet.
No.
Anyway,
It's like
John.
Minecraft hasn't even released, and I've gotten my $14 worth. So.
That's true.
yeah, exactly. Same here. I put tons of hours in Minecraft.
But
So is
what
that it,
what
Matt?
else is on your? Yeah, that's it for Magicka for me. What else is on your list there, John?
Well, nothing for playing, but I just found, and I thought this was hilarious. This Duke Nukem Forever game, they are going to have a collector's edition or the Balls of Steel edition.
Yeah.
And
There'd be like a pinball game in there?
No.
Almost. There's just a lot of random BS that's totally useless but absolutely hilarious.
God.
Like, you know, it's like the history, legacy, and legend of Duke Nukem Forever. There's a bust of the man.
Oh, man.
You know, Carpe Nukem.
You know, I'm
you know,
kind of
like-
disappointed that game came out.
I know.
Or it's
but
coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
just,
still a chance. Somebody kill that thing.
I know. I don't know.
Are
man.
you gonna buy it, John?
What, the game itself?
Or the Balls of Steel?
Or the Balls of
edition?
Steel? I don't know. It's kind of a lot of money for a lot of ridiculous things, but I might.
Your wife will love the fact that you have a Duke Nukem bust on your desk.
When's her birthday?
Just gotta put it on your nightstand right next to the bed.
or on the mantle so everybody can see.
Her birthday's on the 23rd coming up, actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
I don't know,
Nothing
that sounds
says-
like a Valentine's Day present to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds like a beautiful present.
Happy late Valentine's, honey. There's a bust of Duke Nukem.
Who?
Who's that? Anyway,
Oh, God.
I just saw that today. I just was cracking up looking at that thing. I was just like, oh my god, all these like random posters, postcards, bumper stickers, pogs.
I
cards.
know. I'm really curious about that game. I know how Steve feels and stuff like that, but I think it could be fun. Stupid.
I think
fun.
it has the potential to be just retarded fun.
Yeah.
You know, like so dumb that it just doesn't take itself seriously and just, you know, like kind of in a way that Borderlands, it's always making fun, and Magicka always making fun of itself.
Oh God, there's so many movie references in that game.
I've seen some screenshots of Duke Nukem that have actually like impressed me. Like I look at them and like, wow, that actually looks very, very good. But like whenever I see video of that game, it just looks like shit. I'm sorry. I have to play it to know for sure, but
are you talking graphic wise or just everything?
Just everything.
Yeah.
It's mostly graphics, just the way things are animated and like I don't know. I have to see it like with my own eyes to really know, but I don't know.
Some of the hands-on say the same type of thing because I mean it ultimately is based on a game that's been in development over years and years.
Yeah.
So it's I'm not
There's
expecting
probably so many
graphical
strings of bad code in there, and
yeah.
I can expect to one day play that game, but I don't. It
I don't
depends
know
on.
if buy it at $50 or $60.
No, there's no way I'm buying that at launch.
I want to play it at some point.
Yeah.
wait for like a $5 Steam sale 2 months later.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll wait till I walk into.
It would be like the longest game in development that is on sale for $5. So like, yeah,
Longest game in development, quickest to get dirt
like
cheap.
ratio of development time versus sale
Like
price.
Kane Lynch, like 2 months later it was $2
yeah.
or whatever it was.
and it was $5, and I remember even like you were like, I'm glad I didn't pay more than $5. Like the game had just come out. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what happened too. And it was
Like
like
$4.99 worth of content.
yeah.
Well, no, I remember like the way I explained it was the 4 hours of content that was there was awesome, but it just ended out of nowhere. You're just like playing, and then all of a sudden the credits roll. You're like, what? Did they get fired?
ran out
What
of money.
happened?
Yeah, that sucks.
You know, like
cutscene. The end credits should never be a surprise
what was
like
it?
that.
No, it was like 3 hours. I think it took me 3 hours to finish the game, or something really, really ridiculous.
Which is kind of that was the Force Unleashed 2, right? Steve was like 3 or 4 hours.
That one was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, I can't
So
remember
it was
how
worth
long
$10.
No, because it was the Force Unleashed 2 was like I was pushing because like the game was quick anyways, but I was like pushing myself to get to the end, and it was just like I almost felt like I was just pushing myself to the next cutscene. Because I was interested in what was actually going to happen in the story.
Yeah.
And then it was like the whole end fight sequence was just like this exercise in frivolity. I don't know how I would describe it, but it was just like kept on going on and on and on. It's like, okay, I'm not really doing anything different. I've done this 5 times already, and finally, okay.
And then the craziest thing I watched the YouTube videos of the end is they set up totally for another game, and it seems by all accounts that there is not going to be one.
Exactly. That's what.
It didn't sell well.
What was not hilarious at all, but what's like crazy about that is that they said like I don't think Force Unleashed 2 was even out yet when they said no, we're not going to do another game. Or maybe it
and then have that ending. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then or maybe it was like right after it was released or something. But I thought
think right around that time was when LucasArts shut down a lot of stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like the people that made the game kind of came out and said, yeah, we're not, like had been talking about making this into a trilogy or whatever, and then said, yeah, we're not going to make it another
Well,
game.
it was right around, I think Hayden Blackman is the guy who was the creative director of both of them. That was right around the time he quit LucasArts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right before it came out.
That
And-
I wonder
probably
if they
had
were
a
starting
lot
to
to
crack
do with it.
down and.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not how I remember Star Wars Episode 4 being. How that game ended.
Yeah, but Steve, you can see why sometimes I just resort to watching the full playthroughs of edited together as a cinematic.
Yeah,
That's
that,
what
that
I
was
did. I thought of John while I was doing it.
yeah, that was totally worth doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
was it would be worth $5 just to do that instead of playing through the game.
But not
Anyway.
Brotherhood, like you watched, which
But
I
what?
finished.
well,
not
I just
like-
didn't buy it. You know, I'm still gonna play it eventually. But
Jason.
anyway,
Yeah. Anyways, Jason, what
That
have you
was
been playing?
my segue that you all just blew, but whatever. It wasn't like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which he watched the video of,
You
which
bastard.
I finished. Yeah.
You finished it.
Yeah.
whoa,
Okay,
So
quick.
now you got to get on Red Dead Redemption.
Now
Right?
go.
You finish
I
that?
know. I was thinking. I looked at that game today because I had the afternoon off, and I was too tired to play.
Oh,
you're like I just don't want to play Mexico.
That's a lot of work because I was already almost through Mexico.
You're not even back to Mexico yet, are you?
No, I am. I did leave Bonnie's Ranch.
Are you
Oh.
are you powering through it now?
Yeah, I'm
Are you
at the. I'm right now with that fucker who's digging up graves. I just. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, I mean, I liked him until it was like the 5th mission, and I was still doing stupid shit
Well,
for him, which
but
made
that's-
no sense for my character.
But okay, that's everybody in that game that
You
you
know.
meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one problem with that game is that every part of it goes on a little bit too long.
Yeah.
A bit too many side missions.
Yeah. But anyways, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
What
do you think?
Awesome.
Was it?
The last. Well, okay. Here, the last. I'm not, and we're gonna avoid spoilers because I'm assuming we're gonna do some spoiler talk sometime soon.
Oh, we'll have to.
The last part as Ezio, the last actual gameplay with
Level.
Ezio was awesome.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. That was some of the best Assassin's Creed gameplay like in all the games up to date. After that, and I'm not gonna get into spoilers. I really liked the tone of it. There were some gameplay issues I had with some of the puzzles leading up to the end. But I don't want to say I saw the ending coming, but they did set up something to let you think that something weird like that was going to happen. It didn't play out the way I thought it would, but I'm definitely interested to see just where the hell they pick up like the moment that game ends.
Right. Well, because the very, very last thing that happens was kind of a shock, right?
Yeah, well, it was a shock to me in the way that it happened. It wasn't a
Right.
shock that happened. I thought they'd give you a little bit more. I was a little bit disappointed they didn't give you. Gotta be very careful. I was a little disappointed that they didn't give you like a solid knowledge of why that happened.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
It's kind of left up in the air. And like, well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I thought the way they were leading it. I mean, I'm assuming it is. I'm assuming that happened for a reason. Yeah, yeah. And I just thought there kind of would have been a little bit more conversation about why that had happened.
Right.
But that last puzzle can go fuck itself too.
Yes. The climbing up on the shit.
Yeah, it didn't have any logical real flow to it. It was fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that was pissing me off.
The illuminated
Yes.
fucking stones.
That was dumb.
Yeah.
That looks frustrating as hell.
The setting and that leading up to that was great. The whole tone of him breaking off on his own and kind of why they were there, and you kept waiting for people to rush in like it was a trap, but it really,
wasn't.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Spoilers.
But yeah. Well, if people haven't played the game,
And then they still might rush in, but you don't know.
There's a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
But, no, I'm really I like where that story's still going.
Yeah.
I think that was really, really cool.
Okay,
And,
but question for you.
Mm-hmm.
With you've now completed the game, where do you stand on would you rather see more Desmond or would you rather see another time frame?
I think you gotta do a different time frame right now. I would like to see more Desmond. I mean, what you mean Ezio?
No, I meant Desmond.
Oh,
I meant like, do you want to see like Desmond going back into another long lost relative, or do you want to see Desmond in now time, or whenever the time is that Desmond is in slightly in the future?
either way, I would probably actually like to. I'm enjoying the story and the universe so much that I wouldn't mind if they went to, medieval, not medieval, but like, in England or some other time frame.
Okay.
I'd be completely fine with that.
Cool. Well, yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great, and now I'm going to play some of the multiplayer.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Question is if you were going to play any of that. I'll actually probably be playing some of that tomorrow because the wife's taking the kids away from me, so I'll have some free time. We'll go stab some people.
Whenever she takes them, do you wake up at 6 in the morning, like, all right, you guys better get on the road?
It's like Christmas. These
Well,
games are calling me.
You got their bags.
You're like there in the kitchen cooking breakfast. You already packed everyone's bags.
You got you cook a breakfast that won't weigh them down too much, so it's like it's like
yeah. You've already started the car and warmed up the heater.
Yeah. All
Shoveled
that.
only the driveway on the way to the car.
just enough to get them out the door.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Brotherhood is great.
Yeah.
What are you guys playing that on? Are you playing PC or Xbox or PS3 or what?
360. It's not out on PC yet.
Right, 360 here too.
Yep.
But other than ACB, what you been playing there, Jason?
I've been some Magicka, which we talked about, which I'm enjoying. I played some the multiplayer with John, and that's kind of when I got hooked into it.
Mm-hmm.
But also Puzzle Quest 2 on the iPhone.
Really?
Yeah, which I think it was normally $10 when I looked about a month ago because I was interested in it, and it was too much for me to. Which seems kind of silly with the way pricing is on iPhone stuff now. Like $10 is outrageous. I will not pay that when it's $15 on the Xbox and like $30 on DS.
Right.
But it's on sale for $5 right now. I don't know. I think it's like a Valentine's Day thing.
Oh, cool.
Which I really.
Because when you think Valentine's Day, you think Puzzle Quest.
Exactly. Well, it's funny. I kind of do because when Shannon saw, she's like, "Oh, is that Puzzle Quest 2?" I'm like, yeah. But
so romantic.
I think she's an unusual, and that's not you can't.
That's not normal, no.
Exactly, yeah.
Hence why she'd be okay with the Millennium Falcon themed living room.
That could be the Valentine's Day present, yeah. No, it's that game's really. Oh God, that game's really, really good. And I don't know if any of you ever played the first one or dabbled.
I have the first one on Steam just because it was super cheap. It was like $1.50 or whatever, but I've not put more than like 5 minutes into it.
I put a couple hours into the first one, but I played on Xbox Live Arcade. So
yeah, I think right now I'm kind of like Blue K. Brian, I think I put maybe 2-3 hours in the first one. I'm probably already way past that on this one. It's a lot more fleshed out. It's more of a dungeon crawler type of game. And there are some issues on the iPhone with the graphics look. I'm playing on the 4. Graphics look a little bit muddy, but there's a Retina display patch coming out, and there's a little bit issues with. It's a small screen to have all that information on.
Yeah.
But the part that only is an issue with the menus and stuff. The actual where you're swapping the gems. I haven't had one issue where I did the wrong thing.
Is that a lot more fun when you can actually touch the gems and do that stuff as opposed to clicking around with the mouse?
Yeah, that part's way easier. It's a lot better. The menus are the pain in the ass, but really, I'm every couple hours I'm probably stopping and looking at my gear and messing with that, and then it's a little bit cumbersome. But the actual puzzle part works. I haven't had one issue with that part. So I don't know. For $5, if you like the first one. I think this one's definitely worth it. It's the story is whatever. But the way it's laid out, it actually seems more. It just kind of flows a lot better in this one. So
that'd be a more fun game, I think, on a portable than on like a console or PC. I think I probably would have played the first one a lot more if I had it, on my phone or
in your pocket,
on a handheld. Yeah, if I had it in my pants.
Yep, hot.
I could just whip it out whenever I was bored and
there you go.
Play a couple games.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Right. General rule: you're going to play with it more if it's in your pants.
Yeah, exactly.
I mess with it. Yeah, I mess with the.
I don't have to cut holes in my pockets.
or in the popcorn tub. But I mess with it a little bit on Xbox. But yeah, it's just a lot better. Just you boot it up whenever, and on iPhone at least it's really good with, because different apps on iPhone are wonky with multitasking or exiting out of them. This one works really well. You can pause, you can just shut down, put it in sleep mode and start it right back up where you started, or you can exit the app and go right back into where you started, and it auto saves like after everything, so you don't have to worry about losing your progress or anything. So yeah, I'll just boot it up a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there, and it's added up to quite a bit of time lately. So
groovy.
I'm hooked in that. So that's about it for me.
Other than Magicka and EVE Online, which I've already gotten into, that's about it for me. Was playing some.
What are you doing in EVE Online right now? Are you still going through tutorials?
No, I'm all done with that. I just like last night, did a mission and blew up some things and then salvaged them and then went back to the home base. That's about it.
That's a typical night for me too in EVE, or when I was playing.
Yeah,
it's kind of the PvE version of the game.
The thing I like about the game, other than like potentially like towards the end when you get high enough up, the craziness of PvP and
you don't have to wait till you get high level to do that.
Oh, I know, but I feel unprepared at the point that I'm at right now.
Oh. Well, there's only one way to get the experience.
Yeah, I know. I'm a wuss, okay, but I actually do like the other aspects of the game probably more than the average EVE player does. I like the salvaging stuff. I like the mining and shit like that. But it's again
those were always my focus. Was kind of the more PvE aspects of things, and
yeah, I like
doing
that
the
stuff.
market and the crafting and the industrial stuff.
I like it, but the way that it's set up with. It makes it feel like it's a big vastness of space, but like I told Rare the other night, it's the only MMO that I've ever played that I have to keep myself occupied doing other things while I'm moving.
Yeah.
Like I'll have a jump, like 6 jumps, and I'll just alt tab and I'll sit there and I'll watch. I think my exact example to him was that I'll sit there alt tabbed watching people live stream matches of Super Street Fighter 4 and go, that looks like fun. I could be doing that right now. But it's
kind of a weird game for that. I used to do a lot of mining and stuff when I worked from home for a while, and so I would have EVE running on my game machine while I was working on my work laptop, and I would have be strip mining asteroids and things.
Yeah,
because that was mostly an AFK thing that you could do and just kind of keep an eye out on people coming into the system, but not actually have to be hands-on the whole time.
Right. It's one of those games. I would probably play it a lot more if I didn't have to pay a monthly fee for it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, it's already winding down for me. It sucks because there's a lot in the game that I've found that I enjoy that I didn't play before that I've found this time around. But I think I'm already about to the point where it's the newness again is worn off. I think the biggest thing for EVE with me is that there's so much to learn for me. Even I've played it a couple times now.
Very deep and very broad games.
Yeah. And I like games where I continue to learn things in. That's part of my alt problems and like other MMOs. I like learning the mechanics of other classes and stuff. So. But as soon as I kind of figure that out, my interest wanes. So, but other than that, I been playing some Super Street Fighter 4 still. But the other day I kind of said I played a few matches and kind of went, you know what? Marvel vs. Capcom 3's next week. I think I'm just going to take a quick break from the fighting games and just let myself get ready for that hotness. So that is pretty much it for me. That is it. Oh, yes, but I did make a note on here. Last week we talked about Little Big Planet 2 and mouse keyboard support with the editor. Or maybe it was the week before. Can't remember. But anyways, we talked about it at some point. I actually took a mouse and keyboard out to the PS3, hooked it all up, and and I went into the editor. Guess what? Doesn't work.
Why it's not supported, or
It doesn't seem like it's supported. I moved
did
shit
it say
around.
something like what the fuck you trying to do?
Pretty much. It didn't do anything. It works fine with the controller, of course, but does not recognize a mouse or keyboard, as far as I could tell. Now, if somebody out there has figured it out, I haven't. I've done a couple searches trying to find out if people have got it to work, and I couldn't find anything. But if you do happen to know that it does work, and you could inform me of how I can do that, that would be great. Let me know. Email us at multiplaying@gmail.com, and I'll check that out. But yeah, I don't think it works, and that's very sad for me, because it makes me not probably I'm probably in the camp of not actually creating a level, because it's just too time consuming with the controller. So
Steve, once upon a time, I'll see if I can dig it up, and maybe we'll talk about it next week. But I found there was this little small group of people working on some kind of adapter or transformer that you would hook your keyboard into, and then you would hook the transformer into the PlayStation 3, and it would
I remember
convert
talking about
all
it
of
with
that. Yeah, I gotta find that and see, because maybe that would do the trick, because it tricks the PS3 into thinking it's a controller. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
So that might do the trick.
Yeah, there seems to be some sort of communique.
Listener feedback for this week. Nothing on iTunes. You know, we are on iTunes. If you give a crap about rating us on there, go on. Look up Multiplaying. Give us
iTunes is such a pain in the ass, though.
It is. It is a crappy program, but you know what? It's a lot of people use it. So
Put asses in the seats.
yeah. And we did get another email, though. Another one from Sark. And he says, "Hey, sexy multiplayers. Hope I didn't kill the last show. It kind of ended right in my email. Just to inform you, yes, it did kill the podcast last week.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Sark. Guess what this one's going to do, too? Anyways.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Finish reading the email.
Yep. But he does have another couple questions for us, designed not to slay shows, apparently. The first question he has, he goes, "Who's going to play Rift?" And I assume that he means people on the podcast. And guess what? Everybody on the podcast right now is playing. Yay!
Hooray!
And I'm going to skip the first question real quick and go to the second one. Are we going Guardian or Defiant? I never asked Blue K, or Brian,
Defiant.
sorry. You're going Defiant, all right.
Yep.
Are you joining us, or are you going with another guild, or...?
I haven't made any plans yet, so I'll probably join you guys, I imagine.
Cool.
I figure I need to do it right away, because after a couple months, you guys will all be moved on to another game.
Oh, yeah,
That's
for
just
sure.
gonna be over.
Yeah.
Yeah. You better get in.
I
while
do
we're
that
getting
too,
good.
so I don't have any room to talk, really.
Hey, and if...
No, but that's actually perfect, because then we'll all quit together, see?
Yeah.
And if you listeners out there are excited about that, guess what? Yes, we are coming back, or guild-wise, we're going to be forming a guild in Rift on, hopefully if the name stays, on Wolfsbane, which is the one that we've been playing on the beta. We're going to be Defiant, so if you need a guild, you can look us up, go to the forums. There is a Rift section of the forums you can go say hi in and say that you want to join us. Circle of Trust is back, bitches.
Yeah. Hey, were we playing on Wolfsbane? I thought we were playing on Feyblight, or do we have other... I don't know.
Feyblight was the one we were dicking with Guardians on.
Was it? I don't know.
I think it just depends, because I think Wolfsbane is just a regular PvE, and I think Fey is going to be a PvE RP, so...
Right.
Do we need to discuss that at all?
We got to figure that out.
That might actually be a little better, because you don't have to worry about running into a guy named, Penis Head 12.
No, just the jackass named Slurms.
Yeah. Exactly. We might have issues with that.
Well, so, okay.
But sometimes the RP servers have more drama, too, with them.
That's true, because they get a little bit too serious.
Yeah.
And
well, and you get a lot of the
talk about
guys
that
that roll on an RP server just to be dicks, but once you get out of the starter zones, usually that stuff goes away.
So we'll discuss
Yeah.
that. Maybe it'll be Fablite, maybe it'll be Wolfsbane, but
Or
we'll
maybe
figure
something
that
else
out.
if they change the names.
Oh my God, we'll be screwed. But we'll post it for sure, and we'll remind everybody probably next week. We'll have it figured out by next week's show, and we'll revisit that. But his other question about Rift, to get back to the email, was something that John was going to bring up earlier about classes and talent trees, and he says, what class and talent trees are those people going to select? Guess we'll just go around the table here. John, what are you playing? Going to be playing?
I am torn between a rogue, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with that, or a mage. If I go rogue, it's going to be a bard as a main, because I like the support, kind of thing. Probably Rift Stalker as a secondary, and then Ranger as a third. So I'll have the healer support and the tank to switch back and forth from. Meanwhile, the Ranger provides just like a bonus, like off-tank pet without having to put any points into it as I level. So, and then for Mage, definitely Chloromancer. Probably Chloromancer, Warlock, Necromancer. Necromancer would be for the soloing, Chloromancer would be for the grouping, Warlock is just simply for the life leech ability. So yeah.
Awesome.
I'm
Jason,
between
how about
those
you?
two.
What I've been playing mostly in the betas that I've been enjoying a lot is the Mage with Chloromancer, Warlock, and Archon. So it's a nice mix of healing, damage, debuffs, and actual buffs with the Archon to party members. And in the war fronts, that has been a ton of fun. God, I'm really enjoying that. So I think that's what I'm going to...
It's a great class. It's a great class.
I think that's what I'm going to roll first.
How about you, Brian? What are you going to be rolling?
Well, I kind of been going back and forth between the rogue and the mage callings, like John has been. Although I think the mage, I much prefer the Stormcaller Dominator.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I like those two so much. I really don't care about having a third soul, honestly.
That's why with the rogue, like my third soul is simply for the pet only.
Yeah.
So I don't put any points into it, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's a great dynamic, though. I mean, you can mix it up like that.
Yeah. Well, and if you do the multiple rolls, then you can just kind of flip around. But I probably would do Elementalist just to get the pet. But I don't know that I would really use much out of the Elemental soul except for just that initial stage. But I love hitting stuff with lightning. That's my favorite part
Isn't
of
that
that.
awesome? I love it. Yeah.
So,
that was like the whole reason I played a Thane back in Dark Ages Camelot.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanes were awesome.
Love my thing.
And then possibly that or maybe Rogue. And if I did Rogue, I would do, I think it's called Marksman. It's the bow.
Good one.
So Marksman
Yes,
Saboteur,
lots of
which is basically kind of the equivalent of a dwarf engineer in Warhammer.
Yeah, with all the traps and
then
bombs.
add maybe Ranger for the pet to the end of that. So, but I
it's
actually
kind of
enjoyed
staggering how much damage the
combos.
Marksman gets.
Yeah.
They get tons. Oh my god. Anyway.
And I like the kind of the single target DPS classes. My main in Lotro is a hunter, and I've always kind of enjoyed that class quite a bit. So, be kind of building a similar type mechanic into Rift by going the Marksman Ranger route. But I don't know. I'm kind of torn because I like the warrior calling as well. The several of the souls in there are pretty nice for you can do the charge in and go in and do some of the combat with. I forget what the soul names are because I only played them briefly. But there was it was like a not a shaman but something similar to that where you had like a big ass hammer that you would hit stuff with and.
I'm not
sure. I can't think of the name of the
champion, or is that
the champion? The champion is the two-hander.
Maybe it's a champion then. I think
the champion is two-handed specialty, and I forget which one. The other one was
Warlord was one that used a two-hander.
Warlord was Warlord's the buffing, buffing
okay.
a group and debuffing the enemy, which works really well with a paladin, by the way.
Or was it Vindicator? I can't remember what the one was. There was another
Vindicator's
one.
the PvP soul.
Okay.
I was really surprised
at
how much I liked the melee stuff. So I could see rolling a warrior as well. So I don't know what my main would be between rogue and mage, but I could see rolling it all pretty easily.
The Paragon was the one that does dual wielding.
Oh.
Okay.
And then I know Slurms. What about you?
Reaver.
Anything else
Yeah, I
besides
don't know.
Reaver?
I don't know. As long as I'm rolling a Reaver, I really don't care. But yeah, I haven't really honestly figured them out. I keep on looking over the skill trees of the other ones. I think I'm gonna have Beastmaster as my secondary, but I'm really not sure about my third yet. So I liked having the extra added, the bonus of the pet, and some of the skills in that, but I really don't know for my third one yet. But I just know I'm going Reaver, and I'm happy about that. So.
It's hard to pick those, isn't it? Because a lot of times you'll look at a soul and you're like, oh, I want this one ability, but it's like 10 points deep, and you're like, crap, I don't want all these other ones. I just want that one.
That's why I guess I'm not too worried about that for me personally, because I know I'm gonna spec most of it into Reaver. anyways.
Yeah.
And whatever
points are left over, and
whatever else is left over, whatever makes the most sense to go with that is great.
One thing you could do for your third soul, if you're going Reaver Beastmaster, if you add Void Knight, that's just a passive magic resistance.
Oh yeah.
So that'd be passive magic resistance, and damage, whatever. Just in PvP or PvE, doesn't matter which one.
Cool.
Beyond that, all the other ones will have much more, like Brian said, like, this ability is awesome, but it's 10 points in. So
yeah.
So
well, cool.
Anyway.
Sounds like we're mostly figured out though. But going back to the email, Sark continues with the second question. Is it too far past Battlestar Galactica's pinnacle of popularity for the Battlestar Galactica MMO to succeed? What do you guys think? I have not looked at the game at all, and I'm not interested in Battlestar Galactica anyways.
I didn't even know they were making one.
I did, but I didn't care.
I'm a fan of the latest incarnation of Battlestar Galactica, and when I looked at this MMO, it's kind of like a half-assed browser-based free-to-play, and so that's why I wasn't interested in it at all. I don't think it's that IP can't support something like that. I think it's just what they did with it.
It's doomed from development.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the show. I quit watching after the first season because it went from like a sci-fi show to a soap opera, and I didn't, I wasn't interested in that. But I was kind of curious, Jason. It seemed to me like the BSG was popular because of all the interpersonal stuff and the drama and stuff that was going on, and I don't see how that translates to an MMO very well.
Exactly.
It's going to be different fans.
What Shannon and I watched the show for were the character relationships, and the actual fighting was kind of secondary to that stuff, and it's not something that I'm like, because a lot of that stuff, the actual fighting isn't anything that is unique that hasn't been done before. The star fighting or battles, everything. It's things that you don't need that license to make a game like that. So I mean, that's part of it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd feel connected to that universe playing that game. It's a space fighting MMO, browser based.
Yeah. Right. It could be something other than BSG without too much difficulty. And
yeah. And right as soon as I hear browser based too, it's like, okay, well, it can't. I mean, and I could be proven wrong, but what I looked of it and what the impressions I've read of it kind of support that it's not that deep, it's not that great.
Awesome.
Yeah, I guess they're trying to attract the free-to-play, aspect of it.
That casual cross-section of free-to-play Battlestar Galactica fans. Like, I don't think that's a really big...
that's probably my uncle.
You know that niche?
Yeah, those 8 people. Steve's uncle.
Steve's uncle and his friends.
Before we get out of here, Sark did have one last thing on his email. He says all it says is cake beats pie. That's all.
No, it says pie beats pie.
That is incorrect. That is incorrect. Pie beats cake.
I read it the way that it was meant to be read. It says cake beats pie.
It depends on the pie.
No, it doesn't depend on the pie.
It reads pie beats cake, and that is correct.
No.
Well, it depends. If it's key lime pie, then yes, that beats everything.
Are you reading the email? No, you're not reading the email. I'm reading the email, and it says cake beats pie.
I'm reading right here.
And it's
but
the
cheesecake
podcast.
beats any kind of fruit pie.
Damn it, Sark, you slayed another one.
Thanks for ruining the podcast.
Yeah, dick. But before we actually do go, I want to give a big thanks to Blue Cave Brian for being here. It's great having you.
It was awesome.
Yay for Brian.
Yay for Brian. And now we're all going to go play Magicka. So good night, everybody.
See you later.
Well, gentlemen, no point in hanging around this dump any longer.
Wait! Where are you going? I was going to make espresso.
Show's over, folks.
You can't go! All the plants are going to die.
Take off, eh?
Thanks for listening to Multiplaying, the companion podcast at multiplaying.net. Questions, comments, feedback, errors, etc. can be sent to multiplaying@gmail.com. We invite you to write a review on iTunes and visit our website at www.multiplaying.net.
We've made a lot of friends, shared a lot of laughs, often at the expense of others.
I think some people are going to be upset.
Let me just close this conversation by saying you are one unique individual.
Thank you and good night.